So now we're going to get into the spells. We've got Reclaim, instant graveyard recursion, pretty much goes without saying. Mind Twist is another card that your opponent never really wants to see. You can, since you're also ramping, you can throw out a pretty big Mind Twist faster, letting you pretty much rip your opponent's entire hand apart, and they're unable to play the game from that point. Life from the Loam. Now, this is one of the cards that really can make the deck go faster than a lot of other decks. Since it does have a lot of landy, you're going to be getting a lot of land. You'll need to get lands back. Life from the Loam gets you 3 in one shot, but it also plays nice with the cycle lands. So you can go get, cycle all your lands and then get them back, and you just pretty much turn into a card drawing engine. Sylvan Library is a non-artifact top, pretty much. It's Sensei's Divining Top in an enchantment form, so it's good for card manipulation. Night's Whisper is a great card drawing spell. It's basically Phyrexian Arena in a one-shot for 2 turns. You get 2 life, you lose 2 life, get 2 cards, and I mean, it's just all around really quick and gets you extra cards. Chainer's Edict, again, reusable creature removal that's non-targeted, so if your opponent has like any general that has Shroud, Kanama the North Tree, Earl the Miststalker, things like that, you can get around. Demonic Tutor, again, get anything you need at any point. Usually this guy will get either a big creature or will be getting Life from the Loam. Terminate, just quick spot removal. They can't regenerate it. It's easy. Hull Breach, this card, if you're running green and red and any combination of other colors, you definitely need a Hull Breach, because there's always going to be an artifact and there's usually going to be an enchantment on the board that you need to deal with. Being able to 2 for 1 your opponent, they really can just ruin their day. Victimize is another card that every black deck should be running. This deck with Eternal Witness is ridiculous. It does have an errata on it. It says part of the cost is to sacrifice the creature. So when you get 2 creatures, you can actually get the creature you sacrificed back. So you can sacrifice an Eternal Witness, get back an Eternal Witness something else, and then get back Victimize as well. So it really is a pretty intense engine. Eye of Light's Ending, there's really not a whole lot of elf creatures in the game right now, so it's great. Another card that you could use in lieu of this would be Rend Flesh. There's pretty much no spirits at all, so being able to just kill anything on 3 is pretty good. Buried Alive, this is a way to get a lot of your fatties into the graveyard where you can get them back faster, because a lot of times you're not going to be able to just have everything in your hand, so being able to put it in your yard and get it back is pretty good. Again, another black draw card staple, Phyrexian Arena. It goes without saying. Now this card, Blood Moon, is something that a lot of people fear. If you're not running enough basics in your deck, this can shut your opponents out of the game entirely. If your opponent doesn't have an answer for it the turn it comes down, most of the time it's game over. I've gotten turn 3 concessions by playing a Blood Moon. It's not a very fun card to play for your opponents, so this definitely isn't a card you want to play if you're trying to make friends. Reiterate, this card is also amazing. You can copy anything that anybody plays and also buy it back. So if your opponent, if you're in a counter spell war, Reiterate can actually be your trump card where you can counter multiple things in a turn just by playing off their counters. Or if someone plays a draw spell and you're low on cards, you can get cards. You can do anything you really need to do with Reiterate. This is really a staple in any red deck. Now, Realms Uncharted, this deck definitely has a Lands Matter theme, but again, you can Realms Uncharted and get 3 cycle lands and something else. Usually that will be a Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl will get put in the yard, you'll get 2 cycle lands in your hand, and you can just start cycling away. Once you get Life from the Loam, I mean, this really turns everything on. Now again, one of the elements of this deck is Ramp, Kanama's Reach. Same thing with Cultivate, both excellent mana fixing and ramp spells. Krosan Grip, staple in any deck with green in it. You have to be able to deal with things like Sensei's Divining Top. If you have someone who's playing Counterbalance, this will get rid of it. I mean, they get a trigger, but they can't like manipulate their library in any way. Putrefy, spot removal that can't be regenerated, as well as artifact removal. Ambition's Cost is a great card. Again, you definitely need to be drawing cards in EDH. These colors aren't really known for drawing a whole lot of cards. So any card draw that really gets you multiple cards in one turn is worth it. Slaughter, this card is also really, really good. if you're not playing against black decks. If you're not playing with black decks, it's really great because you can just keep reusing it, and you'll never stop. Dread Return, again, you have all these big creatures you want to be able to get back, so you can just reanimate them right out of the yard. Also, you can just sack 3 to get something back if you need to. Barter and Blood is a pseudo damnation. And again, everyone sacrifices 2 creatures, so if they try to do any tricks or anything, they still have to sacrifice. Ruination, another card that really puts the hurt on the opponent. Destroying all non-basic lands, again, can take people out of the game entirely. That's why this deck also has a high basic land count, is because you're playing things like Blood Moon and Ruination, where you are just blowing up lands constantly in massive effects. So you're not just blowing one land at a time, because that's not effective. Being able to totally put someone back in the Ice Age is really what you're going for. Harmonize, green card draw. Rise from the Grave. A lot of people are running things like Beacon of Unrest. I like Rise from the Grave just personally because you can take anything out of any yard, but it also turns it black. So if they're just playing removal that says destroy target non-black creature, well, they can't destroy it. So if you get rid of an Iona and they're playing like white-black or something, you can get back Iona, make it black, and then they can't deal with it because you name white. So anything with black removal says it just doesn't work. Demonic Collusion, it's demonic tutor that's reusable. You can also discard big things in your hand that you're not going to use late game to get it back, and then you can go get like any of your reanimation spells to get it. Living Death is again another mass reanimation and mass removal spell. It can deal with anything, pretty much turn the entire game into your favor, especially after you bury it alive. If you bury it alive in the next turn Living Death, you're definitely going to have better creatures than your opponent. Worm Harvest, with all the lands that you're destroying, this can get pretty nutty, especially with Life from the Loam. You can just keep retracing it. Usually you can get like anywhere on average from 9 to 15 tokens every time you do it, which is pretty dumb. Wildfire, another good mass removal spell, but also with doubles land destruction. If you do this turn 4, if you have a bigger creature on the board, you really can get ahead of the game before it starts. Same thing with Destructive Force. Destructive Force is just, again, Wildfire +1, but again, with being Wildfire, you're blowing up creatures, you're blowing up lands, you're really putting your opponent behind. You can also reiterate Destructive Force to make everybody sack 10 lands and deal 10 damage to each creature, and pretty much nothing survives that. Tooth and Nail, another staple card, getting things like Sundering Titan and Eternal Witness, getting back Tooth and Nail. I mean, you can really destroy a lot of lands pretty fast. Violent Ultimatum, destroy 3 target permanents. Again, targeted removal for any 3 things that are giving you trouble. So planeswalkers, lands, creatures, whatever. Decree of Annihilation. Now this pretty much acts for blue decks as uncounterable land destruction, because you can just cycle it at instant speed, and the only way they can counter that is like Stifle or Void Slime. But not too many decks around here running those, so being able to just blow up all lands at instant speed is really strong. Normally I don't hard cast it, but you can if you really, really have to. Now we get into our artifact mana. We've got Soul Ring, staple, just ramp up. Talisman of Indulgence, just mana fixing. Golgari Signet, again, mana fixing. Prismatic Lens, it can act as a ramp spell, or it can filter your mana, so it kind of does double duty. Sword of Light and Shadow, again, the heavy removal colors are black and white, so being able to dodge those, but also, recur things like Anarchist, Eternal Witness, or just big fatties that you want to get back and buff up your life total is really good. Then we've got Darksteel Ingot, indestructible, so again, if you decide to blow up all artifacts or anything, it sticks around. Coalition Relic is super powerful, fixes all the colors you need, adds multiple mana in one turn. It's really great. Then we've got Navinaral's Disc, which is again just a way to kind of wipe the board. Last we have Mirari. Again, we have a lot of really powerful sorceries and instants that you're going to want to copy. So being able to do that more than once, like Wildfire twice, Tooth and Nail twice, things like that is really, really strong. So that's Darigaaz the Igniter. Again, this deck is not something that you're going to want to play if you want to make friends or you're playing casually. This deck is really not fun to play against. definitely had more than one person say that they're not going to play the deck again. So again, if you're trying to just be casual and have fun with your friends, not the deck for you. Thanks for watching CMDR decks. Please subscribe and make it your favorite.